Listen, I'm about to tell you something that's probably going to piss off half the internet, but someone needs to say it. You know what I see when I look around? Men, successful men, good-looking men, smart men, sitting alone for years. Not months, years. And before you start typing your angry comment, let me ask you something. When was the last time you saw a genuinely happy couple under 35? I mean genuinely happy, not Instagram happy. You can't remember, can you? And there's a reason for that. We've created a world where staying single has become the rational choice for most men. It's like choosing to walk instead of getting into a car that has a 70% chance of crashing. The math just doesn't work anymore. Imagine you're at a casino and there's this special table. To sit down, you need to bet all your savings, your emotional stability, half your future earnings, and your mental health. The dealer warns you that historically, 70% of players lose everything. Of the 30% who win, half say the prize wasn't worth it. Would you sit at that table? Of course not. But that's exactly what modern relationships have become. Male biology is programmed for risk-reward analysis. When the numbers don't make sense, the nervous system fires preservation alerts. I had this conversation with my cousin last week. He's 34, makes good money, works out, dresses well, the whole package. He tells me, I haven't been on a date in 3 years. You know what he says when I ask why? Every time I open these dating apps, I feel like I'm applying for a job I'm not qualified for. CEO position. Requires minimum height of 6'2", salary in the top 5%, properties in 3 countries, fluency in 4 languages, comedian's humor, athlete's body, therapist's emotional availability. And here's what nobody wants to admit. Women have priced themselves out of the market. It's like advertising a 95 Civic at Ferrari prices because they installed new seat covers. They've confused self-worth with demands. I remember meeting a girl at a coffee shop. She worked retail, lived with 3 roommates, had $100 in her account. But her requirements? Owned home, luxury car, overseas travel, free time to constantly entertain her. I asked, what do you bring to balance all that? She looked at me like I'd asked her to solve quantum physics. I'm the prize, she said. The prize for what? For showing up? Women who can't cook demand impersonal chefs. Women who don't exercise demand in athletes. Women in debt demand in millionaires. Delusion has become normal. You know what happens when you set up a game where only one side can win? People stop playing. We watch friends get divorced, lose their kids, pay alimony to women who despise them. We see women laughing about using men for free dinners. They have WhatsApp groups sharing strategies on how to extract maximum resources. And then they ask, where have all the good men gone? They went home. They're playing video games, working on their careers. At least there, effort equals reward. But the real poison isn't just the unrealistic standards. It's the complete devaluation of what men offer. A man can work 60 hours a week, pay all the bills, fix everything that breaks, be emotionally present, remember every anniversary. And what does he hear? That's the bare minimum. My grandfather supported a family of 5 on 1 salary. My grandmother treated him like a king. She ironed his shirts with pride, cooked his favorite meals, respected his decisions. Now you need to be a millionaire to get a thank you. Neuroscience shows that when you remove positive reinforcement, those behaviors become extinct. Men are being conditioned to give up. Here's an exercise. Open any social media and search "men are trash." Millions of posts. Now search "women are trash." One is celebrated with "yes, queen." The other gets banned, deleted, called misogyny. We've normalized complete disrespect toward an entire gender and then act surprised when that gender opts out of participating. It's like spitting in someone's face daily and being confused about why they don't want to have lunch with you. I saw a guy recently, 28 years old, software developer, makes $80,000 a year. He tells me about his last date. He picked her up, paid for a nice dinner. She spent the whole time on her phone, posting stories of the food, never acknowledging he existed. At the end, she says, "That was boring." Doesn't even say thanks. He spent $150 to be someone's content creation assistant. The next day, she posts on Instagram about how men don't know how to date anymore. The cognitive dissonance is extraordinary. I knew a girl. Let's call her Anna. For 5 years, she rejected every man who approached. She had an Excel spreadsheet with requirements. Minimum height, 5 feet 11. Minimum salary, $100,000 a year. 10 countries visited. Master's degree mandatory. Car worth at least $40,000. She was a receptionist making $30,000 a year. Now she's 35, panicking, lowering her standards daily like a clearance sale. But the men she wants are dating 25-year-old girls who didn't spend a decade treating men like garbage. Time is undefeated. The most independent women I know don't go around announcing it. But these women working basic jobs, living paycheck to paycheck, are the ones screaming about not needing a man. The biological clock is real. Women at 22. I don't need anyone. At 28, I'm ready for something serious, but only if he meets my list. At 33, where have all the good men gone? At 38, I'll date anyone with a pulse who texts back. It's a predictable pattern. Why should a successful 35-year-old man date a 35-year-old woman with emotional baggage when he can date a 25-year-old who's happy to be with him? That's not misogyny. That's market dynamics. Social media has completely destroyed women's perception of reality. Every woman thinks she deserves a top 1% man because she matched with one on Tinder once. He was probably married, using her for entertainment while his wife slept. But she doesn't know that. She thinks that's her level. Most men aren't asking for much. Someone pleasant to be around, who doesn't create drama every week, loyal, takes reasonably good care of herself, and actually likes him. Not just what he can provide. That's it. But that's asking too much. The shaming tactics have also failed spectacularly. Shame doesn't work anymore because men realize that being alone isn't the worst outcome. Being with someone who doesn't value you, that is. I remember a wedding 5 years ago. The groom showed no joy during the ceremony. It was resignation, like a POW signing a confession. The bride spent the entire reception complaining about small details. 6 months later, divorced. She kept the ring, the gifts, the honeymoon photos for Instagram. He got the debt and depression. Here's what women don't understand about male loneliness. It's not painful anymore for most men. We're problem solvers by nature. Lonely? Get a dog. Infinitely more loyal than modern women. Need intimacy? Well, there are solutions for that too. Emotional support. Male friendships are stronger than ever because we realized we can't depend on women for that. Need purpose, career, hobbies, goals, building something that won't abandon you. Men have adapted to loneliness. Meanwhile, I see women in their 30s and 40s having complete mental breakdowns, posting wine memes thinking alcoholism is cute. They bought the lie that they could have everything whenever they wanted. Nobody told them that men would simply stop showing up. Nobody told them the window of opportunity was limited. Dating apps have given mediocre women the illusion of infinite choice. She matches with 500 men in a week. Feels like Cleopatra. But those men swiped right on everyone without even looking. She's not special. She's just present. I tell young guys now, forget the apps completely. It's a rigged game. Traditional avenues are destroyed too. Approach at work. HR complaint. Possibly lose your job. Approach at the gym. You're a harasser. They'll post your picture online. Approach at a bar. You're a predator. She's just there to dance with her friends. But simultaneously, why don't men approach anymore? Where have all the confident men gone? The double standards are everywhere. A woman can have a height requirement. Nobody cares. You go, girl. Know your worth. A man has a weight preference. He's shallow, fat-phobic, a terrible person. Woman wants a rich man. She knows her value. Man wants a young woman. He's a predator, creepy, probably a pedophile according to Twitter. Woman won't date a short man? That's her preference. Respect it. Man won't date a single mom. He's immature, not a real man. See? The game is rigged. The rules only apply to one side. Women have been taught they're perfect as they are. No improvement necessary. Ever. Men have been taught they're defective and need constant improvement. You need to work on yourself. Be better. You're not enough. So you have one gender that thinks it deserves everything without effort, and another gender exhausted from effort that yields nothing. I saw a study recently. Legitimate research. It showed that women rate 80% of men as below average in attractiveness. Think about that for a second. How can 80% be below average? That's not how averages work. It's mathematically impossible, but it shows the level of delusion we're dealing with. The average woman thinks the average man is beneath her. The men who are successful with women today, you know what they have in common? They don't care about women's opinions. They've internalized that female validation has no value. And ironically, that indifference attracts women more than any amount of genuine care ever would. The solution? There isn't one. Not really. Women won't lower their standards until it's too late. And by then, men won't care. My advice for men, focus entirely on yourselves. Build wealth, health, and happiness. If a woman adds value to your life, great. If not, you've lost nothing and saved everything. For women, ask yourselves if your standards are based on reality or Instagram fantasy. But honestly, most won't listen. They never do until it's too late. Men are staying single for years, and women are to blame. Not all women, but enough women that it changed the entire game. Men have already adapted. We're fine alone. The question is, are you? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're not handling it well at all. And every year that passes, every birthday, your options shrink while ours expand. This isn't revenge, it's just reality. And reality, as they say, is undefeated.